My name is Hallie and welcome to the Royalty. I've got no music on today because I want to get straight into the story time. It's a very, very interesting story time. It's all about Alpharius. It's finishing off the stream from the weekend. Hey Spinal, hey Spence, how are we doing? I hope well. We're going to go straight into this. First things first, thank you to my royal patrons, my tier 2 supporter, Izzo, my tier 1 supporters, Hansel Panda, Suki SJ, Sternly, Dan Cohen, Chaos315, and Matt Ben. Y'all are amazing. You know this. You know this. We did it! Alright. We're gonna just start watching. I feel bad if people aren't here yet, but like, this is what I want to do. I want to listen to this. Go back from a 2-hour gym workout. Let's go. Like the stream. Yes, do that. Thank you, Stanley. No worries, Stan. What's good, Wolfbane? And Stanley, this is mostly a listening one anyway. We are specifically doing the story time of Alpharius. So it's very story-based today. Let's get it.
We Are One by John French.
Let's go!
Narrated by a border prince.
Also, I hope you're all well. Hello, Wolfbane.
Victory and defeat are a matter of definition. From the axioms of war. Tactica Imperialis.
Is this the whole
I've grown
book, by the
tired
way?
in this war.
I'd assume so.
It has eaten me, consuming everything I might have done or been. I have chased my enemy across the stars, and through the decades of my failing life. We are one, the enemy and I, the hunter and the hunted. The end is close now. My enemy will die, and in that moment I will become something less, a shadow fading in the brightness of the past. This is the price of victory.
So for anyone who doesn't know, this is an Alpharius story time. We're finishing off the last stream. So we're going to be listening to this story. I'm going to be commenting on the story as we go along. A lot of the lore we did learn last time, so feel free to give me any facts, fiction, anything that comes to mind as we go through. I will pause throughout to discuss things, but I just kind of want to hear a story. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's just enjoy stories.
My fist hits the iron door with a crack of thunder. The impact shatters the emerald scales of the hydra that rears across their width. Inside, my Terminator armor, enfolded in adamantium and ceramite, I feel the blow jolt through my thin flesh. Lightning crackles around my fist as I pull it back, the armor giving me strength. I bring my fist down, and the meter-thick doors fall in a shower of splintered metal.
Can I just check? I'm getting a warning sign. Is the stream okay for everyone? I hope so. Can y'all let me know, please? I guess I wait. What do you mean? Is the stream okay? I've got a warning sign to say the stream isn't good. What do you mean? What do you mean, Spencer? With your sits? Nah, it's good. Okay.
I walk through their shattered remains, my feet crushing the scattered ruby eyes of the hydra to red dust on the stone floor. The light glints from my armor, staining its pearl-white surface with...
Wolfbane, you have my attention. Good so far, thank you, Stan. Wolfbane has a confession. We're all gonna listen to Wolfbane's confession, get back to the story time. What is your confession, my son? No way! I'm glad chat is as shocked as I am. You are Omegan? You aren't Omegan. You are Alpharius pretending to be Omegan? I never thought I would see the day, the Wolfbane, you would come up here and tell me something like that. I guess everything is a lie. Not even Wolfbane? You're just Alpharius? Fuck.
Fire and glinting from eagle feathers and laurels. The chamber beyond the doors is silent and creeps with shifting shadows. Burning torches flicker from brackets on jade pillars, the domed ceiling above coiling with smoke. Targeting runes and threat augurs swarm across my vision, sniffing for threats, finding only one. The shackled power in my fist twitches like a thunderbolt grasped in a god's hand. He sits at the centre of the chamber on a throne of beaten copper, void blue armour, mottled with the ghost pattern of scales, sway.
I'm assuming that this story is from Alpharius' viewpoint, by the way. If it's not, someone correct me.
Bathed in spilling cloaks of shimmering silk, features hidden behind the blank faceplate, and glowing green eyes of a horned helm. He sits still, one hand resting on the pommel of a silver-bladed sword, head turning slowly to follow me as I advance. Focron of the
Yo, Maddie! It was all a lie. Elon Musk hired me to be a spy, but Harley, I can't do this anymore because I've fallen in love with your channel. We love you too, Wolfbane. I'm sorry that Elon Musk felt the need to hire you and not sponsor me, but that's a disappointment for another day. Elon Musk, you own Twitter. You may as well like try and own me. I'm for sale. Like, buy my channel and I'll work on it. Deal? No worries! The only love we need is Papa Nurgles! No worries, Mateo. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you.
Alpha Legion, I shout, my voice echoing through the shadow-filled silence. I call you to justice at the hands of the Imperium you betrayed.
Ooh.
The formulaic phrase of accusation fades to silence as Focron stands, his sword in his hand. This will be no simple duel. To fight the Alpha Legion is to fight on a shifting layer of deception and trickery,
So
where
it's not
every
Alpharius.
weakness can hide strength and every apparent advantage may be revealed as a trap. Lies are their weapons and they are their masters. I am old, but time has armoured me against those weapons. He moves and cuts, his blow so quick.
So who is this? Who is speaking right now? It doesn't give me any context.
And sudden that I have no chance to dodge.
Hey, Cancer, how we doing? How we doing? Yes, I'm learning all about you. And Wolfbane, apparently, because Wolfbane was an Elon Musk hire to spy on me. And he loves the channel, and we love him. Musk is bad. But, like, would you say no to him buying this channel if I could make content all the time? Because I wouldn't. Like, you know, he's a dick, but he wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, what's he gonna do? You can't talk about Warhammer lore? Like, fuck off, he wouldn't get any exposure. Like... But yes, we're doing a story time about Alpharius. I've already learnt a lot about him, but now we're just hearing the story about him.
I raise my fist, feeling the armour synchronise with the movements of my ageing muscles, and meet the first strike of this last battle in a blaze of light. 98 years ago, the year of the Ephesian atrocity. Knowledge can make you blind, some say, but ignorance is simply an invitation to be deceived. I can still remember the times when I knew little of the Alpha Legion, beside a few dry facts and half-understood fears. I look back on those times, and I shudder at what was to come. The death of my ignorance began on the mustering fields of Ephesia. Millions of troops stood on the dust plains, in the shadow of suck-covered hives, rank upon rank of men and women in uniforms from dozens of worlds. Battle tanks and ground transporters coughed exhaust fumes into the cold air. Munitorum officers moved through the throng.
So this has got to be post Horus Heresy, because he called the Alpha Legion traitors, which technically they are because of Omegan. It was the Emperor? Fuck! Tell him to get out of here! Tell him to get out of here! But yeah, this story has to be post-heresy because the Alpha Legion are considered traitors. So that's interesting. But, like, I still don't know who it is speaking. I'll be interested to see if it shifts perspective at any point or whether it just stays in this ambiguum.
Shouting orders above the noise, their breath forming brief white clouds.
The reason he hired me is because he's tired of coming onto your game show. He hired me to sabotage his show so he doesn't have to show up anymore. So you can sit in this chair. You know what? I believe it. I believe it. I knew he'd be sick of me. But he's still going to show up to Harleyhammer next week. As far as I know, Alpha Legion shenanigans are at the end of Horus Heresy and post Horus Heresy days. We do love a bit of trolling here and there. We do. But yeah, I think that would be... So I think this would be post Horus Heresy if it's the Alpha Legion being traitor. But I am still trying to figure out who it is. Let's do some detective work.
Above it all, transport barges hung in the clear sky, their void-pitted hulls glinting in the sunlight, waiting to swallow the gathering mass of human flesh and war machines.
Ooh.
It was the mustering of an army to break the cluster of renegade worlds that had declared their secession from the Imperium. It was a gathering of might intended to break that act of folly into splinters and return billions to the domain of the God Emperor.
Oh.
That was the intention.
So it's someone who... It's a faction that believes that the Emperor is God. It is a faction that believes the Emperor is God. Who is in this? Imperial Fist, Black... It's got to be the Black Templars. This has got to be a Black Templar. No fucking way it's not. Black Templars are one of the few that do believe that the Emperor's a god. They actually pray to him 5 times a day. I don't believe the Space Wolves believe he's a god. The Blood Angels are chaos. Death Watch, I don't know about them. Imperial Fist, Black Templars are a subsect of the Imperial Fist, so I guess it could be a random Imperial Fist. I'm going to assume it's a Black Templar. Salamanders, no. Ultramarines, no. So I do believe it's probably a Black Templar. Damn, we're good investigators. We are only 5 minutes in.
Though perhaps ours was the folly. Move! I bellowed as I charged through the crowd, shoving aside men and women in newly issued battle gear. Helena came with me, pushing people out of our way with her will. Grunts and oaths followed us, dying to silence as they saw the tri-barred eye engraved on my breastplate and the hissing muzzle of the Inferno pistol in my hand.
Wait. There's another hint. Tri-barred eye. Who has the tri-barred eye? Am I wrong? Like, am I wrong? Who has the tri-barred eye? I'm trying to find out. Death Watch is a unique chapter of Marines entirely made up of Marines from other chapters whose sole job is to track and kill Xenon. Evening, by the way, Liam. Adeptus Administratum, administrative section of the Imperium, like High Lord of Terror, Fabricator, General of Mars, and so on. Adeptus Minatorum, administrative of all equipment for war. Okay, got you. The thing about Space Marines you have to understand is that none of them, the loyalists, none of them believe the Emperor is God. They believe in something called the Imperial Truth. But doesn't the Black Templars all pray to the God Emperor? He's one of the few legions that I know that call him the God Emperor. Yo, Dan, welcome in! Death Watch is like special forces of Space Marines. They pull in from all chapters and deploy them in a mixed squad, so each can play to their individual strengths. I'd love to be, like, Death Watch sounds sick. If I was going to be in the Emps, that's where I'd be. Adeptus Ministrorum, administrative part of the religious part of the ecclesiarchy. So yeah, they're the religious nuts. So is this dude a religious nut? Damn, I thought we had it. I thought we had it right.
The storm cloak flapped behind me as I ran, the burnished adamantium of my segmented armour bright under the sun. Anyone looking at me knew that they were looking at an Inquisitor. The left hand.
He's an Inquisitor! We were all wrong! We were all wrong! I'm so mad. I'm so mad. But whatever.
Of the God Emperor, one who had the power to judge and execute any beneath the Golden Throne. The crowd parted before me.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. They don't follow the Codex because there's actually 1,000 of them. They just keep on fighting. No worries, Beta. Hi. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Those are chapters having got real exposure to the whole Imperial truth. The main Space Marines believe in the Imperial truth. Death Watch works with the Inquisition. Ah, that makes sense. So this must be where it's like part of the Death Watch. Cool. How are you liking the Alpha Legion? I do enjoy them. They're quite fun. They're actually one of the better ones that I've learnt about. Why the Sisters of Battle don't like main Space Marine legions because they don't believe the Emperor is a god. The reason for that is some Space Marines are pretty old and remember their dads. So this guy's either Codex Astartes isn't Lecticlo Divinatus? I don't know what that means. Service in the Death Watch is like a tour of duty in regular military. It's normally temporary, so they can take what they learned in the Death Watch back to their respective chapters. That's fair. But yeah. So I'm assuming this is... right. Going out for a limb here. What if it is a Black Templar in the Death Watch who works with the Inquisitors? But no, this guy's already said he's an Inquisitor, hasn't he? Yeah, he's already said he's an Inquisitor. So why is he called him the God Emperor? Do Inquisitors believe that the Emperor's God? I believe the Emperor's a knob, but like, is he God? No.
Like cattle scattering in front of a wolf.
Ah, Codex Astartes talks about its holy wars and its tactics. Okay. Isn't the Codex Astartes the one that made all the legions split up and the only ones that, well, one of the few that don't follow it are the Black Templars because they're just constantly on crusade, so you can never actually know how many there are of them?
There! Shouted Helena. From a metre to my left. I twisted my head to see the dun colour of our quarry's uniform vanish into a knot of troops. She was already moving before I had changed.
Ah, the Lectico was written by Lorga. Well, Lorga's a prick. Okay. I get you. If you're Ordo Hereticus, you do. Alright. Listen here. How much have I learnt that I actually understood a lot of what you guys said? Like, I had a comment the other day that was like, I don't know how you learn anything with how much you talk. And I was like, but I really have learnt a lot. It's only been a few months. I've been doing this for like 4 months. And I feel like I actually know a lot of this. Yeah, Riot. But like, how the heck do I know so much? Like, we did so good. Yes! Boom! I'm correct! Ah!
Change direction. Confused looking guardsmen twitching out of her path as she ran through the parting crowd. I could feel the back eddies of the telepathic bow wave that she projected in front of her as she ran, hard muscles flowing under flexing armour plates, dark hair spilling behind. I saw her quarry a second after Helena, a thin man in the ill-fitting uniform of an Ephesian trooper, his skin pale from poor nutrition and lack of daylight. He looked like so many of the rest gathered on that day, another coin of flesh for the Imperium to spend. But this man was no raw recruit for the...
And be thankful if you're an Inquisitor never to be placed in the Order Maledictum, Because god dang, you're gonna have a bad time. Oh, really? I know maledictum. I can't remember it, but I do thingy. I do know it. Oh, a chaos artifact? Oh. Okay. It's got the Emperor, it's got corn in there. Yo! That's why I know it.
The Imperial Guard. He was an agent of rebellion, sent to seed destruction at this gathering. We had been tracking him for days.
Yeah.
Knowing that there were more, and that our only chance to stop them all was to let one run until he led us to the others. That had been the plan.
Y'all couldn't just call it the Great Rift. It had to be Sister Tricks Maledictum.
My plan. But there was no more time. Whatever atrocity they intended was so close I could feel the cold fear of it in my guts. "Take him down!" I shouted. Helena was raising her needle pistol when the man jerked to one side with the agility of a predator. He rolled and came up into a shooting crouch, lasgun at his shoulder. Helena dived to the ground as the lasgun spat bursts of energy in a wide arc across the space she had occupied.
I think I'm doing quite well with the Latin, you know? I'm doing the best I can. High Gothic, low Gothic, mid Gothic, I'm down with all of it and I'm learning it. I'm learning it slowly. And if you're supposed to fix it, keep in mind you're not a Necron, so good luck. It's like you're an ant and you're commanded to turn off the sun. I can turn off the sun. Where's my... I was just going to turn the lights off. I'm too lazy to. Just imagine I turn the lights off. Oh! I've just had a thought. I'm so funny. I'm so funny. Wait, how do I do this? Ta-da!
People dropped in the crowd around us, shouts of pain spreading like a tide. Dead and dying troops lay on the ground while their comrades formed a blind herd, scattering without direction or order. Our man was already up and moving, weaving amongst the panicked troops, using the tide of confusion he had created as cover. I felt a twinge of admiration at the man's ingenuity. He was good. I had to give him that. Determined, ruthless, and well-trained. I came level with Helena as she pulled herself off the ground. "Wait," she said. "We will not outrun him. I will handle this, master." She bit off the last word. I looked at her. She had a face that was too thin and pale to be pretty, and a Scholastica Psychana brand surrounded her left eye.
You're fucking rude. She could have still been pretty. But also, I was about to say she called him master and then winking, and like, he was so mean to her immediately.
The blunt letter eye and a halo of wings. She gave me a humourless smile. Helena was my interrogator, my apprentice in the duties of the Inquisition. We did not like each other. In fact, I was sure she hated me on some level.
Fair.
But she was a fine interrogator and a devoted servant of the Imperium. She was also a psyker, and a lethally powerful one at that. I nodded in reply. She looked away, closing her eyes, and I felt the air around us take on a heavy, burned sugar texture as she drew power to her.
I believe that you knew it was an Inquisitor, Stern, because you seem to know everything. But I was doing good with my guesses. I was narrowing it down. I knew it wasn't any of those. Like, to be fair, in my defense, there wasn't Inquisitors on the featured thing. And they were where I was making my guesses from. So, like, I couldn't have guessed the correct one, but I was working on it. Also, if a monkey shows up in this book, since he's an Inquisitor, just go along with it. If there's a monkey, I'm going to comment on it.
Our quarry had already vanished into the shifting forest of human bodies around us. Hundreds of troops jostled like frightened cattle, and I heard officers shouting for order and situation reports in the distance. There was a frozen moment, a sliver of time, that for an instant was quiet and still. I saw a young trooper no more than a pace from me.
Don't you mean Monkai? I was just chat! No, I haven't been told about the space monkeys yet. A Jacairo? What's a Jacairo? Come on, I literally was saying monkey, and like, I think y'all should accept that, like, I did really well. So, I think I did well. I'm proud of me. I don't know. Is that Jackeye Inquisition? The eye was the biggest clue. Well, this is the thing. I was like, who has an eye? And no one answered me. That's what I said. I was like, he's got an eye on his chest. Who's got the eye? Keith? That's a terrible name. There's this weird race. They're actually space apes, and the Inquisitions keep them around because they're good at fixing stuff. They make these things called digital weapons. Oh, Jakiro is an orangutan that's extremely intelligent. They use as helpers in the Imperium. That's so weird. Stop enslaving other races. Stop enslaving animals. The orangutan engineers, stop, like, forcing everything to help you. Get over yourself, humans. This is why I'm for killing the humans. Like, you never tell me anything that makes me want to keep them. I only ever hear negative things. One day, I'm just gonna sit here and be like, convince me. You know what? Here's a promise. I'm gonna do a stream where I let y'all try and convince me to join the Imperium. Once I know a little bit more, I'm gonna sit here while y'all try and convince me to join the Imperium. Or just your faction. Haven't decided yet.
His face expressed.
No, it's not enslavement. They literally keep them around as pets, but they got a good deal. They literally have the talent to take random scrap and make it into weapons. That's cool. Fine, she just called exterminators and the space monkeys. If we can't have them, no one can! I did not. If the pets, it's a little different, but still. Humans, man. Humans in this world? Heck 'em.
Expressing puzzlement, his tan-coloured uniform still creased from storage. I whispered a prayer for forgiveness in that moment. An invisible shockwave tore from.
That's what I thought. I didn't think most of them worshipped him as a god. The Templars I know aren't the only ones, I knew the Templars do. Because they pray to him like 5 times a day, the most high profile. I learned that in Hell's Reach. See how much I'm learning, guys? I knew that. Servitors are literally slaves, though. They're literally prisoners who've been turned into mindless husks. Well, not mindless, they know what's going on, but they just can't do anything about it. We use contracts with minimum wage with free health insurance. I'm Alpharius, not enslaver. That's Cancer, that's the best catchphrase I've ever heard for Alpharius. Alpharius, not enslaver. Because name don't matter, but title do. Boom.
Helena, ripping bodies from the ground and tossing them into the air like debris in a cyclone's path. Bodies fell, broken, screaming, as the telekinetic storm followed our quarry. It reached him, 50 paces from us, and flicked him off his feet. He hit the ground with a crack of bones. When I got to him, he was sucking in air with wet gasps, his meshed fingers scrabbling at the lasgun just beyond his reach.
I never said that stream was today, Wolfbane, but we will do a stream. Is that Fulgrim is still based after you learn about him properly? Maybe the only thing I'd push is Loyalist Fulgrim is superior to Traitor Fulgrim. I just think it'd be funny. I think it'd be funny to sit here and do a convince me to join your faction stream. And just, like, let y'all give me all the facts that you think would convince me that your legion is the best. And at the end of it, I'll make my decision of which faction, if I wasn't the chaos heretic I am in Slanesh, who I would be with.
I raised my Inferno pistol and burned his reaching hand to a charred and blistered stump. I did not bother to ask him how many other saboteurs were hidden in the mustering, or what their target was. I knew he would not give me an answer. It did not matter. He would tell me what I wanted to know anyway. Take it from him. I flicked my pistol at the broken man on the ground. We need to know how many of them there are and what targets they're intending to bomb. Helena took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a second before looking down at the man who twitched and gurgled at our feet. He went still, and I could feel the cold witch touch on my skin. Helena's eyes were closed, but as I looked at her, she spoke. I have him, but... Her voice quivered, and I saw she was trembling. There is something wrong. Get the information, I snarled. We have...
Hey guys, I heard an interesting rumour. Now, I don't know if it's true, but rumour has it that Games Workshop is trying to bring back Conrad and Ferris Manus. Ooh, my Wolfie boy is back? And Conrad? Well, I have been meaning to learn about Conrad. That'd give me a good excuse. Gestures at Ultramar. Imperial Knights be like, greetings, servant of the God Emperor. My name is Great Ivar from House Ivarnar, from planet Ivarnar. Great Punisher, Slayer of Demons, Gauntlet of the Heroes. Nerd! Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. That's really funny. They're trying to make it that the assassin missed Kurz. Oh, are they really? Is that gonna go down well? That doesn't sound like it's gonna go down well. But like, y'all would know more than me.
Running out of time. How many have infiltrated the muster? Where are the bombs? She began, but was cut off by a laugh that bubbled up from the man on the ground. I looked down. He was staring back at me with corpse-white eyes.
The convert is the most insistent advocate. That's why I love Emperor's Children so much. I used to hate them, but after doing a lot of research, I found they were much cooler than much give credit. And that's why I'm an Emperor's Child, Stern, because we the best. Yo, shock system. I'm honest, seems like Eldaria jam. Your fall to Slanesh is inevitable, but you're not there yet. You say not, I haven't fell yet, but like, that's Slanesh. Well, that explains why the Night Lords haven't fully fell fully into the Chaos Madness. Ooh. Hey! Stop trying to convince me. That's for another stream. Okay, I'll do it at the end of this stream. If you stick around till the end of this stream, you can try and convince me to join your faction. Deal? Actually, no, I want it to be its own stream. I want you guys to prepare this. I want you to prepare your arguments. No, we're doing this next week. Next week, on a random day, probably Wednesday, I will do a stream, a bonus stream, where y'all convince me to join your faction. You have 1 week to organise yourselves. 1 week. Get your arguments. They lead up to the assassin's camera turning off before the strike. In current law, she raced off with his head, but they could push that she ran off with the crown instead. Maybe. Where else, Cancer? I got this channel for law. No, here. I'll do it here. So I'll literally be live, and what we'll do is we'll literally just have a full discussion stream on Wednesday, next Wednesday, and y'all give me reasons to join your faction, and we'll go through them, and we'll see what we think. Oh, I will allow call-ins. If someone's in the Discord and they want to call in to make an argument, I will allow them to call in. I'll have a waiting room set up, and then they can join me live for a moment to argue their case. I'll allow that. I'll allow it. I'll allow a call-in feature. Did Sunday get decided? Yes, Space Sharks won. Based? I think that's pretty based. That'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really cool for that. So anyone who's in the Discord will get the option to call in, and they will be able to make make their arguments live. However, I'm going to state this. I will only allow this for people in the community that I know. So if you've been here for a stream or more, I'll probably know your name and I'll trust you enough to let you in. You just got to tell me who you are on YouTube, because like some of y'all in Discord are not always the same person you are on YouTube. But you have some good homework. Let's go. But yes, essentially that is the ruling. If I know you in the community by next Wednesday, so even if you come in on Sunday, you're a decent person, I will let you be on the stream on Wednesday. Let me in. Wolfbane, you would be allowed, even if you are a traitor for the Emperor. I'll let you in, but it, like, for stream safety reasons, it'll only be people. I won't be allowing live arguments from people who are new to the community on that day. We ready?
In that moment I knew I had made a mistake. We are cautioned that assumptions are worse than ignorance, and looking at the man I knew that my assumptions would see me dead. This was no saboteur ring bent on a mundane atrocity. This was something more, something far more. Icy fear ran through me. "We are many, Inquisitor," he said, his voice a racking gurgle of blood and shattered ribs. Beside me, Helena began to spasm, blood running from her mouth and...
Listen, Dan, I know you so well. Of course you would be able to come onto the stream. You've been here since, like... Right, there's a couple of you who have been here since, like, the beginning streams. And I know who you are, and if you dare even think that you're out, I will hunt you down. If I know you by name, I know you.
eyes.
Also,
her mouth was working.
Just because Stanley's gonna yell at me, don't forget to like the stream. At Third Legion Propaganda, you can go for any. Sons of Horus. Well, that's what I said. Like, Sons of Horus weren't in the list, so I was like, can't be a Son of Horus. Why would he be calling the Alpha Legion a traitor? Unless they knew that he killed Horus. That he, like, abandoned Horus. But yes. People have a habit for falling for my voice, so I'll stay out of this one. I believe it, Liam. You are Irish, so I believe it. I believe it. It's a pretty good voice. So, thank you for stopping the chat from falling in love with you and following your lore instead of mine. I very much appreciate it.
Trying to form words. "Witches! They are witches!" she gasped, her hand reaching to grip my arm as the psychic storm built around us. "I can feel their minds! There are more! Many more!"
No worries, Cancer. Like I said, I've already learned a lot about Alpharius. I know that Alpharius is Omegan, and I know that Omegan is Alpharius, because they switch places. I know all about that. But this is just a story time of the Inquisitors versus Alpharius. Irish pride would sound great, bar a few exceptions. Yes. Irish pride. Believe it or not, my family, like, half my family are Irish. I just don't sound it unless I say very specific words. You'll see me around. Are you not coming on Wednesday? Are you not going to try and convince me to join your legion? That is very upsetting. Actually, I'm going to do a poll. This one's for Stern. The guy who plays a terrified person quite well, good voice. Yes, let's continue.
I felt a greasy charge lick my skin and detected a stink of burned blood on the air. The broken man laughed again, his skin crawling with lurid warblight. "We are many!" he screamed. And he was still screaming as I vaporized his head. The sound did not end, but filled my head, getting louder and louder. I looked up from the dead man and saw the extent of my mistake.
I look forward to seeing you then, Cancer. Bye! Have a good day!
Across the plain, figures rose into the air on pillars of ghost light, their limbs pinned to the air, arcs of lightning whipping from one to another, connecting them in a growing web. Dark clouds, the colour of bile and dried blood, spilled into the sky. Across the mustering fields, hundreds of thousands fell to their knees, moaning, clawing at their skin, blood dripping from their eyes. Some, with stronger will, had been able to arm their weapons and fire at the witch chorus. Some found their mark and sent psychers to their death. But there were many, and the witch storm rose in power with every heartbeat. I could feel the unclean power crawling over me like insects, and the witches' voices pulling my thoughts apart. All I could hold on to was anger.
Yes, today is Wednesday, so Sunday will be Space Sharks and Wednesday will be Make Me Join the Faction.
Anger that I had failed, that an enemy had fooled me. All the while, their voices grew louder and louder, spiralling around each other as a single word emerged from the telepathic cacophony.
You got that right, Dan.
Fulcron. Dozens of minds screamed the name, and the storm broke in an inferno that washed across the mustering fields. It turned flesh to ash and scattered it on a superheated wind. Hundreds of thousands died in a single instant. An army to conquer worlds reduced to twisted metal and dust. I watched the fire come for me.
It's
and
true.
felt something enfold me like a cloak of ice. I realized that Helena still gripped my arm as I fell into the darkness. I woke on a plain covered in ashes. Helena was next to me, her exposed skin burned and blistered, her breathing so shallow I thought she was dead, until I saw her eyes twitch open. The energy needed to shield me still lingered on my skin as a cold shroud. I know now that she had saved us both, but at a price. The power she had channeled to shield us had almost burned her psychic talent out. She lived, but she was a shadow of what she had been, and never became an inquisitor. Amongst an overwhelming tragedy, her sacrifice still lives in my memory, like the ghost touch of a lost life. Around us, there was...
Why doesn't she get to be an inquisitor? Like, did she die, or did she just lose the ability to, like, psycho stuff?
Nothing but a landscape of desolation beneath a bruised sky. It was quiet, but in my mind echoed the name of he who had perpetrated this atrocity. 84 years ago. We came out of the iron-grey sky on streaks of blood-red fire. Staccato lines of flak and the bright blooms of defence lasers rose from the fallen city like the claws of a dying god raking the sky. Landing craft and assault carriers were punched from the air. Burning wreckage fell in oily cascades of smoke amongst the city's glittering domes and spires. The air rang with shells fired from orbit and the howl of attack craft engines. The wrath and might of the Imperium fell on the city, and it screamed as it burned. In the gloom of my Valkyrie's crew compartment, we felt the ferocity of the invasion as shuddering blows that shook the frame around us. It was close inside the assault carrier, the air tinted red by the compartment's tactical lights and spiced with the smell of sweat. Even in such a confined space, my stormtrooper detail kept their distance, even if that distance was only centimetres. I knew each of them by name, had fought beside all of them and personally selected them as my guard during this invasion. We had bled and struggled side by side, but I stood apart from them.
No worries, Wolfbane! Fun fact, burning out psychers is a handy way to track Tyranid hive flight movements. Oh, how so, Shock? You gotta go, Wolfbane. No worries. Remember, Sunday is Space Sharks. Wednesday is Convince Me to Join You. I hope you have a great day.
To feel the power of the Emperor in your hands is to know what it is to be alone. It is a fact that I had long ago accepted. Lord! The voice was raised against the thunderous sound of the battle outside. I looked up from the holographic sight to see Sergeant Drake looking down at me, his face framed by oil-black armour. Theatre Command wishes to know where you intend to make your landing. I smiled, letting careless humour wash over my face. Do they indeed? I asked. Dre grinned back at me. Yes, Lord. They say it is so that they can coordinate to properly supply your...
Wait, who can read the hive mind? Can you really read the hive mind? Also, Inquisitor Crippman is returning from retirement. No way!
Operations. I nodded, pursing my lips in mock consideration. I am not given to humour, but to lead people to death you must wear many masks. Something exploded close by, and the Valkyrie bucked. I felt my back pressed against the hard metal of the flight deck as the pilot banked hard. Little late in the day for a coordinated strike, don't you think, Drake? I gave a small shake of my head. Tell them I will update them shortly. Yes, Lord, nodded Drake. And our actual target? I looked back to the hollow display, coloured runes winking in clusters over a plan view of the city, shifting with objectives and tactical intelligence. The city was called Hespatia, a glittering jewel that had fallen to greed and lies and pulled the rest of its planet with it. The ruling guilds had overthrown the imperial governor.
Also, just wanted to clarify something about the Codex in case it wasn't clear. It's more or less the 40k equivalent of the Art of War with organisational guidelines from Marines and other things. Yeah, I kind of got that vibe.
And given their souls and those of their people to the dark gods. This, though, was not why I had come to see it fall beneath the hammer of imperial retribution. I had come not because of Hespatia's heresy, but because of its cause. The Onyx Palace. I handed the sergeant my holoslate. Assault position marked. I watched the thinnest cloud of fear pass over the sergeant's blunt features. We were heading into the heart of the corruption, and we were doing it alone, without support. Very good, my lord, said Drake, and began to bark a briefing to the other stormtroopers. I checked my own weapons, a blunt-nosed plasma pistol holstered on the thigh of my burnished battle plate, and an eagle-headed hammer, which lay across my knees.
The Tyranid shadow in the warp acts like static noise for psychers, driving them crazy and are making communication and travel differently. Yo, okay, that's... We shouldn't do that, though, because I'm a psycho.
The Valkyrie bucked again, shaking from invisible blows. We were close. I did not need to see the tactical data to know it. I could feel it in the shuddering metal around me. In the decade after the burning of the Ephesian mustering, I had changed much and learnt more. Suspicion is the armour of the Inquisition, and I had come to appreciate its value. Rebellion had spread, pulling a dozen worlds into heresy and corruption, and with it had come a name I already knew. Fokron, arch-heretic and puppet master of betrayal. His agents and traitors spread through our own forces like a contagion. Even with the might of a crusade at our backs, we brought every victory with blood. Ambushes, sabotage, and assassination ate our strength, even as we advanced step by bleeding step. So I came to this damn city to cut off the rebellion's head.
I feel like the Imperial Fist on screen is false advertising. I know that's the book cover the story is taken from, but still, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've been betrayed. I have an idea. I have an idea. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm just gonna make you wait here for just one moment. This will only take a minute. I swear it's worth it. I swear it's worth it. Just wait for me. I've got something that's gonna cover. It's gonna cover the book, so that it's more realistic for what we need. That's how you determine their movements. Not great if you're an Imperial Psyker, though, true. So I've been able to read the hive mind is such a big deal, it's insanely difficult. What, Photoshop is armor? No. Hey, Dylan! I'm doing better. I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, that's good. There we are.
To kill the enemy I had never seen. I came to kill Fokron. The side doors of the Valkyrie peeled back, and the burning stink and howl of battle flooded over us. Beneath us, buildings flickered past, aflame, and so close that I could see the patternwork on the blue-green tiles that covered so many of their domed roofs.
Thank you, Jacques. Thank you. All right. I'll edit it. I'll edit it so it's more accurate. Because you're right. This isn't about Rogaldorn. Rodent Snorn can, like, keep his business, you know? This is someone else's business. Right. There you go. That one's better, right? What are we watching today? We're doing an Alpharius short story. But I bullied sternly a little bit, but I changed it. Rodent Snorn! Yeah, Rodent Snorn is his new gimmick name. So a little better. There we go. But why today and not tomorrow? Because because it's like a bonus stream. Stan's gonna cry himself to sleep tonight listening to Voldemort's Rogaldorn videos. I'm sorry, okay? But like now it's more Alpharius based.
In the streets, figures moved from cover to cover, the sound of their small battles lost amongst the roar as fire fell from the sky in an unending rain. Above the burning city sat a tiered mountain of pale stone the colour of dirty ice. A series of ascending domes and balconies, it glowed under a luminous haze of void shields, which flickered and sparked with the impact of munitions and energy blasts. This was the Onyx Palace, seat of governorship on this world and the heart of its betrayal.
You know, we've been here for like an hour, but still like 20 minutes into this. I'm having a great time with you guys. Thank you for hanging out tonight. But I was joking. Rodent is your favourite Primarch? Rodent shouldn't be, Dylan. You can do better than him. Rodents Known is like. By the way, Stern, I'm working on other nicknames because the same way I did the last Harley Hammer episode with all the different, um, like, like robot girlymans. Like, I want to do a whole video with all the different rodents knowns. Like, there's rodents known, robust pawn. There's like renowned lawn. Like, there's a couple of them. I'm working on them. He battered Fulgrim and Alpharius, clapped all them traitor nerds. Alright, listen here, Dylan. He ain't done shit to Fulgrim, let him win. TTS Vox logs change people's opinion of him due to his interaction with a character you don't see very much outside the logs. Best character, boy. I've heard that. Just my favourite amongst the loyalists. I know. But, do you like my nicknames? Because I worked hard on them. Because, like... just acknowledge the effort I put into this. I'm creating a whole new meme. A whole new meme. From me. This is my meme. This is where it started. If you hear rodent snore, thank you. I've born glorious fruit. See, this is the thing. I created the meme rodent snore, and I'm going to keep pushing that until other people say it. The second a big lore channel says it, I win.
Folkron was there. It was his bastion. The layered shields sheltered him from the bombardment, but they would not deny us. The Valkyrie hit the void shield envelope, sparks arcing across its fuselage.
Lord Adorable, what the fuck? Oh, wait, what's the Adeptus Ridiculous anti-Dawn meme? Wait, there's other anti-Dawn memes? And they didn't go with Rodent Snorn? That's like the most obvious name! The meme was Rogel Karen! That's a pretty good one. I like that one. Maybe he can't. Maybe that's why he likes buildings so much. Because you don't gotta read them. But, hear me out. Rodent Snorn? It's a great name. And I'm gonna make people use it. He sounds like someone who can't read. Oh, that's a bit weird. Like, he can't read is funny in the context if he sounds like it. How do you sound like someone who can't read? It's dumb, bro. Hit up Rodent Snorn and catch me on the west side.
And an electric tang filling the air. The tiered balconies of the palace rose before us, studded with dark weapon turrets that spat glowing lines of fire. We banked and tipped, rounds hammering into the armoured airframe. The engines howled as they thrust us towards the palace's summit. Others came behind us, delta-shaped wings of vulture gunships and more assault craft. The air shuddered with the rolling scream of launching rockets and the bellow of explosions. Domes and statue-lined bridges flicked past. I could see figures, some crouched behind sandbags, others already running from the detonations that walked up the flank of the palace in our
Weird.
way. As we crested the highest dome, I saw Folkron for the first time. A figure in dark armour with a single black-clad companion and a cluster of cowering figures in billowing silk robes.
Stanley, someone said they didn't like the stream. I'm just gonna let you know.
He stood close to the edge of the balcony, as if he had been watching the ruin that he had forced the Imperium to bring to this world. The Valkyrie pivoted, its engine screaming as it skimmed the stone slabs of the platform. My stormtroopers were already dropping out of the door, hitting the ground one after another. Drake gave me a grin, hurled himself out, and then it was me tumbling a few metres to hit the tiled platform. The world span for a second. Then I was up on my feet, training and instinct doing the work of thought. My armour responded to the movements, thrusting me forwards faster than muscle could. Behind me, more stormtroopers spilled onto the platform. The robed figures, clustered around Fokron, died, Helgen blasts burning through their silk finery.
I completely agree with you.
A few ran, swaves of coloured fabric spilling behind them, their bare feet slapping on the marble.
I know.
Fokron stood impassively, his hands empty, the sword at his waist withdrawn. Behind him, a figure in a black storm coat and silver domino mask stood equally unmoved. I fired, plasma hissing from my pistol. Others were firing too.
You know that the votes are anonymous. I don't do votes that tracks. That would be rude, because then people can't be honest. Rogel Dawn, Primarch of IKEA? Please tell me someone says that. Who says that? Like what law person says that he is the thing of IKEA? Because someone's got to. Surely. There's no way that's the first time someone said that he is the patriarch of IKEA. No way no one said that. He does like desks. Oh yeah, 100%. That's better. Oh.
Bolts of energy converged on the two figures, but splashed against a shimmering dome of energy. Drake and his squad were in front of me, sprinting towards Fokron and his aide. "Try and keep up in that armour, Lord," I heard the sergeant's grin over the vox. I spat back a very unlordly oath.
My favourite short story is about a bitter gay breakup between two Marines and how one never got over it. That's a vibe. Not really, but I like to think of it as a way to amuse myself. That's funny. Although flat packs probably don't have enough fortification positions and room for gun turrets for his liking. No, but that's why he is the leader of IKEA. He actually, what you don't know is every IKEA piece fits together to build this giant fortified fortress that you can build with just a hammer. And most of them you don't even need a hammer for. You just use the screws. It's fortification on a budget.
As the first shots hit Fokron's energy field, Drake drew his sword. Lightning sheathed it with a crackle. "Close assault, get inside the shield dome!" The sergeant spat over the vox. The hammer in my hand sprang to life, its generator making it vibrate with straining power. Drake was the first through the shield dome, raising his sword for a backhanded cut, muscles ready to unfold the momentum of his charge into an armour-cracking blow. But Fokron moved at the last instant, before the blow struck. I fought a lifetime of wars and met many enemies blade to blade. I have studied the business of killing, the workmanlike cut, the parry and riposte of a duel, the nicety of a perfectly timed blow. I have watched men kill each other in countless ways. The art of death holds no mystery to me. Yet I swear, I never saw death dealt with more malign genius than at that moment. Fokron's sword was in his hand. It was long, its double-edged blade damasked in a scale pattern. A saurian head snarled from its crossguard, and it met Drake's sword in a thundercrack of converging power fields. Drake was fast, and conditioned from years of war to react to such a counter. But at that moment, those instincts killed him. He shifted his weight to let the Space Marine's blow flow past and open his enemy to another cut. He did not expect Fokron to drop his sword. With no resistance, Drake's sword sliced down and cut air. Fokron turned around the sergeant's sword, so close their armour brushed. The gauntleted hand slammed into Drake's armour at the throat. I saw the sergeant's head snap back, his body rag loose as he fell to the ground. The rest of Drake's squad had not been far behind him, and they opened up as they came through the shield dome. Fokron was already moving towards them at a flat run. The first died as he squeezed his trigger. Fokron's hand closed over a Helgun.
No, that sounds funny. I'd probably do that, to be fair. Like, I literally have no reason why I wouldn't do that, to be honest. I probably would, to be honest. Purely because, like, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean? Also, I fucked up my camera and it's been annoying me. I don't know what I did to it. But I'm no longer circular. But I'm kind of circle. But I'm not. And that really stresses me out. Where's it gone? I'm very upset about the development. Why am I not circular? Was I always not circular? Someone tell me. Because I'm pretty sure I was circular. This is annoying me. No, but I mean, like, do you see this little bit at the bottom? This little bit at the bottom. This tiny bit at the bottom. I'm so sorry, I've been doing this for about 5 minutes. It's really annoying me. I was at Alpha Legion, but you traitor, so you'd be okay with them, but then again, if there is a to believe, maybe not. True. Medi! Was like that for the whole stream? Are you serious? Why am I no longer a circle? Fuck. That is upsetting.